Introduction to Master Immortal Road. This is the story of a traveler leading a small sect to rise. The article about ordinary people farming and competing for dominance has no system. Chapter 1. Forced to become the leader. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the northern edge of Middle-earth, there are endless yellow sand and gobi. This place is known as the Northern Desert by the Middle Turks, also known as the Endless Sand Sea. Although this place is desolate and sparsely populated, there are still numerous cultivation forces. As a giant in the Endless Sand Sea, Fihongzong also has numerous vassal sects and families below. The mountain gate is located on Lihua Mountain, and the Tai Gate, which has been passed down here for over 300 years, is one of the many vassal forces of Feihong sect. Just now, Meng Ming became the new head of the Tai sect. If it were normal, Meng Ming would have been overjoyed to surpass a few senior brothers and become the leader of the Tai sect. But now, he doesn't have a happy expression at all, instead he keeps a straight face. No wonder he is like this. Whoever is forced to sit in a dangerous position and is about to be caught up on the front line as cannon fodder may not have any good mood. 4 years ago, the old enemies of Fihongzong and the Qi family in the northern desert once again engaged in a fierce battle over a newly discovered miniature spirit stone mine. 1 year later, the scope of the war expanded, and the two major forces began to recruit vassal sects and families to participate in the war. 3 years ago, Taiman was summoned by Fihongzong to participate in the war. The leader of Tai sect personally led 2 deputy leaders during the foundation building period and dozens of disciples during the Qi refining period to participate in the war. 3 years later, the envoy of Feihong sect has brought bad news to the Tai Gate. 3 foundation period cultivators, including the leader of the Tai sect, were all killed in battle, and dozens of Qi refining period cultivators also suffered losses, leaving only a few. That's not all. The envoy of Feihong sect brought orders. The Tai sect must continue to send people to participate in the war, and the new leader will personally lead the team. This command caused a huge uproar inside the Tai Gate, which made everyone in the Tai Gate furious. I just suffered such a serious loss, and all the experts who built the foundation in the sect have suffered losses. Even the leader has died in battle, but Feihong sect will continue to recruit. This is clearly treating the disciples of the Tai sect as cannon fodder. Anger returns to resentment, and no one in the Tai sect can resist the orders of Feihong sect. Powerful sects like Fihongzong, which possess digital alchemy immortals, can almost effortlessly destroy the Tai sect. Since we cannot resist, we must accept it honestly. So, after a fierce struggle within the Tai Gate, Meng Ming took the position of head. This is not a good thing for him, as he is clearly being pulled out to top the cylinder. The reason why Meng Ming, who is only 16 years old, became the leader of the Tai sect is not complicated. Firstly, according to the rules of Tai sect, only the disciples of the sect leader can become the next sect leader. Unless all the disciples of the sect leader have died, or they are truly unbearable to cultivate. Meng Ming was a disciple of the previous sect leader who closed the door. According to the rules of the Tai sect, there is no problem inheriting the position of Tai sect leader. Secondly, the Meng family is the oldest family within the Tai sect, and the previous leader also came from the Meng family. In recent years, the influence of the Meng family has expanded greatly within the family, infringing on the interests of many other families. If it weren't for the concern of the previous head, other families would have started to rebound long ago. Now, the leader has died in battle, and among the disciples who went to the battlefield with him, many of the elite members of the Meng family have also been lost this time. The Meng family, whose vitality was severely damaged, immediately attracted a backlash from other families within the family. Not only did he lose a lot of benefits, but even Meng Ming had to sacrifice himself and become the new leader of the Tai sect. It should be noted that Meng Ming, who is only 16 years old, has a cultivation of 6 levels of Qi refining, and is expected to build a successful foundation before the age of 60. He was not only a key seed in the sect, but also a leading figure in the younger generation of the Meng family. This time, due to changes in the situation inside the door, he had to be sacrificed by the head of the Meng family. Although I am still a 16-year-old boy in this life, in my past life, I have already become an experienced adult. He, who has been a person of 2 generations, has a mature enough mind. Knowing that the situation had reached this point, resistance was useless, and Meng Ming could only accept it seemingly honestly. At this point, Meng Ming was deeply dissatisfied with the various major families within the sect, who did not forget their internal conflicts and only focused on their own family interests. It seems that these families within the sect have long disregarded the overall situation of the sect and have gradually become malignant tumors within the sect. Meng Ming had this realization in his heart. Under the witness of the envoys of Feihong's sect, after a simple ceremony, Meng Ming officially took over as the head of Taiyi sect and became the new head of Taiyi sect. Next, it is to select the disciples who will accompany Meng Ming on this expedition. Although Meng Ming is the new leader of the Taiyi sect, he was only pushed out as an emergency. Inside the door, he not only has no real power, but also has no right to speak. It was probably already negotiated beforehand. In less than half an hour, 30 disciples of the Qi refining period appeared in front of Meng Ming. Most of these 30 disciples are not from major families within the sect, but are isolated individuals without support. A small number of disciples from major families, who are also marginalized figures within their respective families, have long been abandoned by their respective families. Perhaps due to Meng Ming's sacrifice, among these 30 disciples, Meng Ming did not see any disciples of the Meng family. Meng Ming can understand being forced to become a sacrifice, but he will definitely not accept it. A gentleman seeks revenge for 10 years. As a practitioner with a long lifespan, decades or even hundreds of years will not fade hatred. Old folks, once we get through this difficult situation, there's plenty of time to settle accounts with you slowly, Meng Ming thought to himself. The disciples on the expedition had gathered together, and Meng Ming took the initiative to walk up to the envoy of Feihong's sect and bowed. Senior Chen, I have gathered all the experts and can start at any time. The envoy sent by Fi Hongzong is a skilled builder named Chen Mou, reading www.uukangshu.net as his name suggests. Chen Mou is a quiet and cold-looking middle-aged man. Since arriving at the Taiyi Gate, apart from bringing bad news and conveying the orders of Feihong's sect, he has not said any extra words. He ignored all the hospitable reception, greetings, and deliberate flattery from the members of the Taiyi sect. Although the elders in charge of reception at Taiyi Gate felt that Chen Mo was really difficult to serve, they dared not have any dissatisfaction when faced with a strong foundation builder. Taking a glance at Meng Ming and the team accompanying him on the expedition, although Chen Mo was a bit dissatisfied, he still didn't say much and accepted the arrangement of the Taiyi Gate. Although Chen Mo appears indifferent on the outside, he looks like he is not getting close to strangers and does business. But in actual handling, he still has some room for turning things around. Although most of the teams sent by Taiyi Gate to participate in the battle were mediocre Wagwa cracked dates, considering the heavy losses suffered by Taiyi Gate just now, they could barely accept it. Chen Mo walked out of the main hall of the Taiyi Gate first, followed closely by Meng Ming and his disciples on the expedition. Upon reaching the open space outside the main hall, Chen Mo took out a small boat the size of a palm and casually threw it into the air. That small boat grew long against the wind and quickly turned into a flying boat over 10 zhang in length. The flying boat descended to the position above everyone's heads. Without further ado, Chen Mo jumped onto the flying boat. Meng Ming and the others followed Chen Moyue on a flying boat, standing behind him. Chen Mo walked to the position of the head of the flying boat, injected true qi, and the boat quickly flew up into the sky, then flew forward. Before the flying boat left, Meng Ming glanced below. The pear blossoms on the Pear Blossom Mountain were in full bloom, and he didn't know if he could come back one day. Chapter 2. Hurry to the front line. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chen stood in front of the flying boat, inputting true qi to control the boat to move forward. The true qi he inputs only controls the direction of the flying boat, and the true power of the flying boat still needs to be provided by the spirit stone. Flying boats are not only expensive, but also consume a considerable amount of spirit stones during use. Smaller sects and families are affordable but not useful. The Tai Gate originally had a flying boat, but it was taken to the front line by the old leader 3 years ago and its whereabouts are still unknown. After flying high into the sky, the strong wind became fierce. Although there is a protective formation on the flying boat, it is inevitable that there will be waves of cool wind blowing through the formation and brushing onto everyone. Everyone inside the flying boat is a cultivator, so of course they don't feel cold, but instead feel waves of coolness. Meng Ming has been practicing in the Tai Gate since his birth, and rarely leaves the gate. This is still his first time traveling far in this world of his age. The azure sky is as clear and transparent as washed water. Below is an endless Gobi desert, filled with endless yellow sand and occasionally weathered rocks. The flying boat takes a long time to fly, and only then does a touch of green occasionally appear below. That is an oasis scattered throughout the endless desert, and it is also a major human settlement. Looking at this vast and magnificent scene, Meng Ming's depressed mood was somewhat relieved. Meng Ming turned his head and looked behind him. The disciples who followed him on the expedition this time had lifeless eyes, drooping their heads and looking dejected, as if they had suffered a defeat. It's no wonder they have shown how high their morale is when they are used as cannon fodder. As a traveler, Meng Ming has watched many film and television works in his past life. At this time, the pig feet inside often come up with a mouthful of criticism. After the firecracker, the low morale immediately became high. Meng Ming is neither a pig's foot in movies and TV dramas, nor does he have strong verbal skills. There is no way to deal with the low morale of everyone. Out of sight, Meng Ming was too lazy to look at these unlucky ghosts. Instead, he took off a storage bag tied around his waist and carefully picked up the items inside. After Meng Ming took over as the head of the Tai sect, the head of the Meng family handed him this, saying that it was a collection of various families in the sect for him to use on the front line. Probably to appease him and make him accept the position of head honestly, and to embark on his journey with peace of mind. There are many supplies in the storage bag. Inside the storage bag, there are 1,000 inferior spirit stones, several large stacks of various talismans, and several pills for restoring qi, healing injuries, and detoxifying. As the head disciple of Tai sect, Meng Ming is not completely unaware of the financial situation of Tai sect. As a vassal sect of Feihong sect, Tai sect submits offerings to Feihong sect every year. Just about 1/3 of the output of the Lingtian in Tai Gate needs to be paid in. Approximately half of the income from various spiritual mineral resources needs to be paid in. The rest of the business income, including the income from the local market, must be turned over for worship. Excluding the various expenses and expenses of the Tai Gate, the surplus of inferior spirit stones in the gate generally does not exceed 2,000 in a year. This time, Meng Ming was given this batch of supplies, and there was also a lot of bleeding inside the door. Of course, in Meng Ming's view, this is his hard-earned money, which can be considered as the income he deserves. After arriving at the front line, see if these spirit stones are enough to buy a good magical tool. As for these pills and talismans, let me share them with everyone. The flying boat where Meng Ming is located is not alone. Along the way, there are occasional flying boats coming from different directions and then heading in the same direction. After these flying boats gathered, there was no intention of stopping to chat, but rather a simple greeting and galloping forward. It goes without saying that these flying boats are all from Feihong sect, carrying cannon fodder recruited by Feihong sect from various vassal forces. The flying boat did not stop all the way, and it took 3 days and 2 nights from leaving Tai Gate to reach its destination. The destination is Mingshifang city located at the foot of Mingsha mountain. This place is located in a crucial location, with connections in all directions, and is indeed a crucial location. The original Ming Fang city was a very prosperous neighborhood due to geographical reasons. After the war between Fi Hongzong and the Qi family in northern desert, it was transformed into a fortress and served as the main support point for Fi Hongzong's defense line. Mingshifang city originally had a no-air formation, but after the war, it strengthened its defense against the air. Even a flying boat from Fi Hongzong cannot directly fly into the city of Mingshifang and land. Flying boats began to land 1 mile away from the city of Mingshifang. A large number of cultivators surged out of the flying boats, dividing into piles of people according to their respective sects and families. Without much nonsense, just a simple, keep up. After that, Chen Mo rushed to Mingsha Fang city first. Meng Ming dared not neglect and greeted the crowd behind him, then followed closely behind Chen Mo. Although full of unwillingness, the 30 selected disciples of the Tai sect, captured by the reputation of Feihong sect, also closely followed behind. Chen Mo led this team to move the fastest, and they had already walked a distance before the other teams began to move. Everyone is a cultivator, and the distance of 1 mile is only a short while before they finish walking. Although I clearly knew Chen Mo, the guards guarding the gate of the neighborhood carefully inspected the team before allowing them to enter the interior of the neighborhood. The rigorous management of Fi Hongzong left a deep impression on Meng Ming. The major vassal forces recruited to participate in the war have their own bases within the city of Mingshifang. Chen Mo, who was familiar with the way, led the people of Tai Gate and made a few rounds of stops in the neighborhood before arriving outside the base of Tai Gate. This is the residence of your Tai Gate. You can enter on your own. Your fellow disciples will explain various affairs to you. Remember, now that we are on the front line, everything will be carried out in accordance with military law. Anyone who dares to disobey orders will be executed without mercy. After speaking, Chen Mo, who was as diligent as gold, didn't say a word more before turning around and leaving, directly throwing everyone from the Tai Gate here. The residence of Tai Gate is an independent courtyard. Outside the courtyard gate, an old man is standing. The people of Tai Gate were looking at each other inside, but when they didn't know what to say, the old man took the initiative to greet them. Lao Jiu, why are you here? What's going on in the family? The old man was very surprised when he saw Meng Ming. This old man is also from the Meng family, named Meng Yi. Meng Yi's aptitude is not good, and his cultivation level is also average. He is already in his 60s and only has 7 levels of cultivation for refining qi. He, who had long been unable to build a foundation, no longer focused on cultivation. This person is cunning, and he is known as a cunning old man in the Tai sect. The previous leader didn't know what he was interested in and often kept him by his side as a dog-headed military strategist. 17 Uncle, my nephew is now the new head of the Tai sect, Meng Ming said with a bitter smile. Chapter 3. Placement of Disciples. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Meng Ming did not expect that even the skilled builders of the foundation period in the sect had all died in battle, but Meng Yi survived. However, immediately thinking of this 17th uncle's reputation for being cunning, I also have some understanding. Upon hearing Meng Ming's words, Meng Yi was momentarily taken aback, and then his face changed for a moment. After a while, I finally burst into a bitter smile. Fourth brother did a bad job this time. Anyone in the family can sacrifice themselves. You must protect a seed like old Nine. The fourth brother mentioned by Meng Yi is the head of the Meng family. Meng Yi's mind was also spinning fast enough, and in a moment, he could figure out the cause and effect of the whole thing. Perhaps the head of the family was also forced. Anyway, it is only natural for the family to give birth to and support me, and to make sacrifices for the family. Meng Ming spoke with some enthusiasm. Although he appears to be a 16-year-old sophomore, inside, he is a mature soul from Earth. He certainly wouldn't be foolish enough to complain about his family and sect in public. Acting is not too difficult. Meng Yi gave Meng Ming a meaningful glance. A few years ago, I told fourth brother that we should not rely on the power of the leader to force other families too much. The Tai gate is the Tai gate of everyone, not the one surnamed Mengjia. Fourth brother not only didn't listen, but also said that I was too timid and worried too much. I originally wanted to persuade the leader to intervene, but I was also worried about causing discord in the family. Now it's good. The leader is no longer here, and our Meng family has lost its greatest reliance. It's strange that other families don't take the opportunity to rebound. Hey, this is the end of the matter. I shouldn't say so much nonsense. I'd better arrange for you first. After speaking, Meng Yi led Meng Ming and others directly into the courtyard. This courtyard covers a large area, with 4 entrances in front and back. Meng Yi arranged for 30 disciples from the sect who came with Meng Ming to stay in the front 2 courtyards. A quadrangle courtyard, with many rooms, is barely enough to accommodate. Arrange everyone to stay. Meng Yi led Meng Ming into the 3rd courtyard. The place inside is quiet, and I have arranged for the surviving wounded to live here to recuperate. The disciples who accompanied the previous sect leader on their last expedition, in addition to the 2 deputy sect leaders during the foundation building period, also had a total of 50 Qi refining disciples. Now, all 3 members of the foundation building period have been destroyed, and 7 members of the Qi refining period, including Meng Yi, have survived. The surviving disciples were all severely injured. Those who lack arms and legs are considered to have minor injuries, and those who have exhausted their cultivation and are lying in bed waiting to die. Meng Yi appears to be unharmed, but in reality, he suffered a considerable amount of internal injury. After this period of cultivation, I have slightly improved and can come out to receive Meng Ming and others. Meng Ming led Meng Yi to visit the injured disciples one by one, and introduced the identity of Meng Ming's new leader to everyone. These doormen who narrowly escaped death were listlessly hiding in their rooms to recuperate. For the visit of Meng Ming, the new leader, they were also lukewarm and did not have much reaction. After Meng Yi and Meng Ming visited 5 injured soldiers, they took him to the last room. The person living here is Xianxia, a trusted confidant of the old leader. The old leader has secretly cultivated a force that has always been under his control. Meng Yi whispered. As the dog-headed military strategist next to the old leader, Meng Yi obviously also holds many secrets. As the closing disciple of the old sect leader, Xianxia and Meng Ming also have a deep impression. Xianxia was originally an orphan. After being adopted by the old leader, he was initially a child beside the old leader. As he grew older and his cultivation deepened, he became the most capable subordinate around the old leader. Meng Ming did not expect that the old leader trusted Xianxia so much. This level of trust has surpassed that of one's own disciples. Meng Yi lightly patted the door of the room. Anji, it's me. I'm leading the new leader to come and see you. After speaking, without waiting for a response from inside, Meng Yi led Meng Ming directly into the room. The interior of the room is very simple, with only one bed outside of a simple desk. Meng Ming has also dealt with Xianxia before. In his memory, Xianxia was less than 40 years old, usually gloomy, silent, and had little interaction with the others in the door. But in the eyes of many young disciples in the sect, Xianxia has a good image and is a rare cold-faced male god. Now looking at Xianxia lying in bed, Meng Ming almost couldn't recognize him. Xianxia on the bed has a scuddy beard that hasn't been cleaned for a long time. His face was waxen yellow with no trace of blood. He was haggard and looked like an old man. The originally robust body has also shrunk significantly. How did Brother An become like this? Since the start of the war, Anji has been arranged to be by the side of Chen Lian, a senior cultivator during the construction period. Chen Lian and the head of the Wang family, Wang Xilai, have a grudge. After meeting on the battlefield, the two sides immediately engaged in a big fight. Wang Xilai's poisonous fire was really powerful, severely damaging Senior Chen Lian. Ji was also injured by the poisonous fire during the war. Fortunately, Senior Chen Lian didn't forget to bring in Ji before retreating. Although Anji returned safely here, the fire and poison on his body cannot be cured. After being tormented by the fire and poison for so long, Anji's situation is getting worse and worse. After the war between Fi Hongzong and the Qi family in the northern desert, in addition to their respective vassal families and sects, both sides also recruited a large number of scattered cultivators to participate in the war. Meng Ming has also heard of the reputation of practicing Chen Lian as a casual practitioner. It is said that this person is one of the few alchemists among the scattered cultivators, and he has a wide range of friends. He also has a good relationship with the old leader of the Tai sect, and both sides have many exchanges. Is the injury on brother and really incurable? Meng Ming asked. Meng Yi shook his head. Chen Lian, a senior, has the same type of fire poison. He has searched for a good doctor and tried every means possible to cure it. He is still relying on his cultivation during the foundation building period and barely persevering. Although Chen Lian is a casual cultivator, he is still a foundational cultivator and an alchemist. Even his abilities cannot cure fire and poison, let alone Ji Anji. Regarding Ji Anji's injury, Meng Ming was also powerless. Apart from saying a few pale and powerless words of comfort, he had no other choice. He clearly doesn't have much respect for Meng Ming, the new head of the Tai sect. But after reluctantly handling one sentence, he stopped speaking. Meng Yi sighed secretly upon seeing the situation, and after casually saying a few words, he left here with Meng Ming. After walking away, Meng Yi said to Meng Ming, "I took you to visit him. I thought I could let him transfer the power that the old leader had secretly cultivated to your new leader." However, he didn't even mention this matter. Seeing Meng Yi's disappointed expression, Meng Ming comforted him and said, "I'm young and have neither strength nor prestige. How could I be so easily trusted?" Meng Ming thought to himself, "I am not the legendary son of the plain. I have the ability to make my younger brother bow when my tiger body shakes. Old Jiu, being able to clearly understand yourself is a rare ability for a young person of your age. Old Jiu, I still know you quite well. Although you didn't take the initiative to sit in the position of leader, you are calm and dignified, and have the demeanor of a great general. If the position of leader is entrusted to you, even if the old leader knows it, he will feel at ease." Meng Yi talked to Meng Ming while leading him to the fourth and innermost courtyard. This was originally the residence of the old leader and two deputy leaders, but now it has been arranged as the residence of the new leader Meng Ming. Chapter 1. Competition for Thrones. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Continuing north on the northern edge of Middle-earth, there are endless yellow sand and Gobi. This place is known as the Northern Desert by the Middle Turks, also known as the Endless Sand Sea. Although this place is desolate and sparsely populated, there are still numerous cultivation forces. The small Tai Gate is one of the inconspicuous ones. Just 2 days ago, Meng Zhang became the new head of the Tai sect. At this moment, Meng Zhang sat cross-legged on a futon, like a wooden person, motionless, with a constantly changing expression on his face and a myriad of thoughts in his heart. As the new leader of the Tai sect, Meng Zhang has been sitting quietly in the main hall of the sect for half a day. As for all the affairs in the Tai Gate, he doesn't want to handle them at this time. Anyway, Tai sect is just a small sect with a small territory, and there are only about 10 disciples in the sect. Naturally, there are not many urgent affairs that need to be dealt with in the sect. At this moment, Meng Zhang's heart was constantly filled with the smiles and sounds of his former leader, as well as his mentor and adoptive father, Master Xianling. When I traveled to this world, my body was still a baby, and in the blink of an eye, 16 years had passed. Under the nurturing and painstaking cultivation of Master Xianling, Meng Zhang not only fully integrated into this world called Junqian realm, almost no longer reminiscing about life on earth, but also became a practitioner of the 4 levels of qi refining. Before the death of Meng Zhang's mentor Xianling Daochang, he had told Meng Zhang more than once. A small sect like Tai sect cannot tolerate a genius like Meng Zhang. The Tai Gate, which had almost lost its inheritance and had limited cultivation resources, did not provide much assistance to Meng Zhang and instead delayed his cultivation. If it weren't for selfish motives, I couldn't let go of everything in Tai sect. I hope Meng Zhang can revive Tai sect. Xianling Taoist has already sent Meng Zhang to other major sections. With Meng Zhang's top-notch spiritual roots, even the major sects with the golden elixir immortal will compete fiercely. As soon as Meng Zhang starts his studies, not to mention being a true disciple, he cannot escape the treatment of an inner disciple. Superior cultivation techniques and sufficient supply of cultivation resources. With Meng Zhang's talent and hard work, he has at least achieved a perfect cultivation during his qi refining period. Unfortunately, the extravagant hope in Xianling Taoist's heart for reviving the Tai Gate, as well as Meng Zhang's feelings for Xianling Taoist, kept him in the Tai Gate. Meng Zhang was also like an eagle with folded wings, unable to stretch, only temporarily hibernating. A series of piercing arguments came in from outside the main hall, and they were getting closer and closer. Meng Zhang, whose thoughts were interrupted, had a clearly displeased expression on his face. The main entrance of the hall was heavily pushed open, and two figures stepped into the hall without stopping. The leader is a man in his 30s, with a big face and big ears, a thick beard on his face, big steps, and a rough demeanor. Following the great Han was an old man with a goatee and a sinister expression on his face. Two mung bean-sized eyes rotate flexibly, revealing a complex mind at first glance. I have long instructed my disciples to remember the previous leader in the main hall and not disturb me if there are no major issues. But these two annoying guys clearly didn't take their words to heart and just rudely barged in. After all, there was still some concern about their identities. Meng Zhang suppressed his displeasure and greeted them politely and distantly. Master Zhenling, senior brother Fang Meng, I don't know what's going on between you two. Are you in such a hurry to break in? Seeing Meng Zhangduan sitting motionless on top of the cattail, his master's posture was fully displayed. The rough and powerful man, also known as Fang Meng, the eldest disciple of Xianling Taoist, had an unhappy expression on his face and said stiffly, Senior brother Meng Zhang, although our Tai sect has declined now, it is still a prestigious and upright sect that values order in growth and young age, with different levels of hierarchy. As a young disciple of the Master, you have surpassed me as the founding disciple and inherited the position of Tai sect leader. It is really unreasonable and difficult to subdue the masses. For your own good, and more importantly, for the future of the Tai sect. Junior brother, you'd better hand over the position of the leader of the Tai sect. Faced with such an undisguised door pressure on the palace, Meng Zhang's heart lit up. However, considering Fang Meng's rude nature, Meng Zhang remained magnanimous and did not argue with him. More than a month ago, Meng Zhang's artistic mentor and the head of the Tai sect, Xianling Daochang, was summoned by Shuangfeng Valley to join numerous cultivators in fighting against a wandering sand monster community. 2 days ago, the envoy from Shuangfengu arrived at the Tai Gate and brought back the news of the death of Xianling Taoist. According to the last words of Taoist Xianling, under the witness of the envoys from Shuangfeng Valley, Meng Zhang, as the youngest disciple of Taoist Xianling who closed the door, inherited the position of head of the Tai sect. In front of the Shuangfengu envoy, no one in the door opposed Meng Zhang's succession to the Tai sect leader, let alone anyone daring to cause trouble. But as soon as the envoy from Shuangfeng Valley left, different voices appeared in the door. As the founding disciple of Xianling Taoist, Fang Meng has always claimed to be the legitimate heir of Xianling Taoist. In his view, after the death of Taoist Xianling, he should naturally inherit the position of Tai sect leader. I don't know when this little junior brother, who usually remains silent in the door, confused the master and made him hand over the position of the leader of the Tai sect to him before his death. It's really a biting dog that doesn't bark, Fang Meng cursed in his heart. Meng Zhang's face remained expressionless in front of him, completely ignoring his demands, which made Fang Meng angry. "Meng Zhang, how could you be so virtuous and capable? How could you steal the position of the leader of the Tai sect? Master must have been foolish and had lost his head before he died, so he handed over the position to you. You can't sit steadily in the position of Tai sect leader. Junior brother, hand over the position of leader, and when I become the leader, I won't treat you unfairly." Fang Meng's tone softened a bit. "A brainless fool, I don't even know if someone is shooting me," Meng Zhang cursed in his heart. He was too lazy to say anything more to Fang Meng, just a few cold words. "Senior brother, the position I inherited as the head of the sect has been witnessed by the Shuangfengu envoy. You have ulterior motives and want to compete for the position of head. Are you going to disobey the Shuangfengu envoy or oppose it?" Shuangfengu is the ruler of the surrounding area, with a large number of cultivators in the sect, as well as several foundation period cultivators, and many subordinate sects and families. The Tai sect, a small force with only about 10 disciples and not even a cultivator in the later stage of qi refining, is just an ant in front of Shuangfeng Valley. The borrower was brave enough, but he didn't have the courage to oppose Shuangfengu. Of course, although Fang Meng has a bad temper, he is not a fool. He also knew in his heart that Meng Zhang was pulling a big flag to make tiger skin and using Shuangfeng Valley to suppress himself. Shuangfeng Valley has brought back the last words of Taoist Xianling and ensured their implementation, which is already the end of benevolence and righteousness. As for what will happen to Tai Gate in the future, most people are too lazy to ask. After all, small vassal forces like Tai Gate have a considerable number within the jurisdiction of Shuangfeng Valley, and Shuangfeng Valley does not have the energy to intervene one by one. As long as Tai Gate does not rebel and can ensure that the annual offerings are fully paid in, Shuangfeng Valley will most likely not interfere with the internal affairs of Tai Gate. But after all, Shuangfeng Valley is renowned, which makes Fang Meng feel a bit hesitant. Moreover, Fang Meng still has some innate goodness in his heart and is unwilling to engage in self-destructive behavior with his fellow disciples. Seeing Meng Zhang's resolute expression without any intention of compromise, it was obvious that he had made up his mind to become the leader of this Tai sect. Fang Meng no longer entangled himself, but also made some kind of determination. "Junior brother, with your abilities, the Tai sect has fallen into your hands, and I believe there is no future for you. I will not compete for the position of leader with you, so as not to let others say that I will bully you, junior brother." From then on, our side suddenly withdrew from the Tai Gate and had nothing to do with it anymore. "Junior brother, you should take care of yourself in the future." After speaking, Fang Meng didn't say much anymore and surprisingly turned around and left like this. Don't be fooled by Fang Meng's beautiful words, he really wants to take action. Although he has been practicing for many years, he really doesn't have the confidence to win against Meng Zhang, a young junior brother. Fang Meng, in his 30s, only had a cultivation level of 4 levels of qi refining, while Meng Zhang, at the age of only 16, also had a cultivation level of 4 levels of qi refining. Moreover, Meng Zhang practiced the most difficult skill in the Tai sect, Shaoyang Qigong. If it comes to the power of combat, Shaoyang Qigong is still above Fang Meng's Huangsha Ju. Without the confidence to defeat Meng Zhang, and relying on his identity as a senior brother, he couldn't suppress Meng Zhang. Fang Meng, who had a hot temper, was even more unwilling to submit to others and surprisingly left the Tai sect like this. Meng Zhang was also too lazy to argue with rough people like Fang Meng. It's going to rain, and since Fang Meng has made up his mind to leave, Meng Zhang will not hold him back. At least everyone is from the same family, it's better to gather and disperse than to fight and kill each other in the same family. Watching Master Fang Meng leave the main hall, Meng Zhang's gaze turned to the true spirit Taoist. Compared to the irritable and straightforward Fang Meng, the real trouble lies in the old fox, the true spirit Taoist. Before Meng Zhang's master Xianling Daochang passed away, Zhenling Daochang was an restless master. In order to compete for power and resources for cultivation, the true spirit Taoist is in the Tai sect, often causing trouble and engaging in open and secret struggles with the Xianling Taoist. The cultivation level of true spirit Taoist is only 5 levels of qi refining, and his strength is far inferior to that of Xian spirit Taoist, who is 6 levels of qi refining. But this cunning guy, relying on various cunning tricks, did indeed cause a lot of trouble for the Xianling Taoist. In order to maintain stability and unity within the sect, as well as to take care of the relationship between the disciples and brothers, the gentle-tempered Xianling Taoist, who appeared to be a kind-hearted person, not only did not rely on his strength to forcefully suppress the true spirit Taoist, but also showed great tolerance towards him. The kindness of Taoist Xianling did not earn Taoist Xianling's understanding, but instead made this guy even more mischievous in the door. Before the death of Xianling Taoist, Xianling Taoist had many concerns and dared not go too far. Now that Master Xianling has passed away, this guy immediately jumped out and caused trouble. Although Meng Zhang is usually quiet and does not have close contact with other disciples, he is not a confused person, but silently observes all kinds of things in the sect. He saw too clearly the small movements of the true spirit Taoist in the dark. Today, Feng Meng rushed out and forced the palace with such a fierce roar. Apart from Feng Meng's own personality, there must be some instigation from the true spirit Taoist. Since Meng Zhang had already seen through the true spirit Taoist's character, he was too lazy to compromise with him. Instead, he directly asked, "Is there anything important that senior uncle is looking for me?" Watching Feng Meng leave the Tai Gate in frustration, Taoist Xianling felt secretly happy in his heart. On the surface, however, there was an expression of regret. "Why do we come here? Why do we come here? We are all brothers from the same sect, what are the inexplicable knots?" After sighing for a while, the true spirit Taoist finally said to Meng Zhang, "Martial nephew Meng Zhang, although martial nephew Feng Meng was too impulsive today, the small temple of Tai Gate has indeed wronged you too much, martial nephew Meng." In order to protect Meng Zhang, during his lifetime, Xianling Daochang did not disclose to anyone else in the sect that Meng Zhang had a superior spiritual root qualification. The others in the door only know that Meng Zhanglingen has good qualifications and is probably a mid-level Lingzhen. In fact, even with qualifications like Zhongpin Lingzhen, it can already be considered a very good qualification in the surrounding area of Shuangfeng Valley. Like disciples in the Tai sect, their spiritual roots are basically not very good. Among the inferior spiritual roots, they are all considered crooked melons and cracked dates. Martial nephew Meng Zhang, with your spiritual roots and qualifications, you should indeed have a better future. Seniorin, who passed by the Tai Gate last year, greatly appreciates you. The elderin mentioned by Taoist Xianling is referring to the famous head of the An family, An Lei. Last year, An Lei, the head of the An family, passed by the Tai Gate and accidentally discovered Meng Zhang, a talented and beautiful person. Although he did not see through Meng Zhang's superior spiritual roots, only the potential revealed by Meng Zhang made An Lei feel a great love for talent. An Lei immediately made a statement in front of the people of the Tai sect, wanting to bring Meng Zhang back to the An family and accept him as his own disciple. He could also betroth his beloved daughter to him, so that he could truly become the core disciple of the An family. Meng Zhang's encounter has made many people in the Tai sect envious. This is a miraculous fate that brings both wealth and people. You should know that Xianxia is a large family of cultivators with several foundation period cultivators and the same level of cultivation as Shuangfenggu. It is very common for small sects like the Tai sect to send excellent disciples to large forces like the An family in the entire cultivation world. For Meng Zhang, being able to enter Anjia was like a carp jumping over the Dragon Gate and out of the small pond of Tai Gate. But to everyone's surprise, Meng Zhang voluntarily gave up this opportunity of heavenly descent and politely declined An Lei's invitation, insisting on staying in the Tai Gate. Fortunately, An Lei had a grand demeanor and the demeanor of a high-ranking official, and he did not get angry due to Meng Zhang's refusal. Instead, leave a message that if Meng Zhang changes his mind at any time, Anjia welcomes him at any time. After Enlai left, many people in the Tai sect laughed at him as a fool and gave up the good opportunity in vain. Of course, Meng Zhang's loyalty to his sect and his affection for his mentor, Taoist Xianling, were secretly noticed by a mysterious existence. Meng, you have given up a lot of opportunities due to your mentor-disciple relationship with senior brother Xianling. Now that senior brother has passed away, Tai Gate should not be your bond. With your qualifications and talents, you should have a better future. With your potential, nephew, if there could be a better environment, you would have already soared to the sky. It's the Tai sect that has delayed you, nephew. My nephew, your future is far away. Taoist Xianling, with a completely for Meng Zhang's sake, earnestly persuaded him to give up his position as the head of the Tai sect and join other more promising major sections. You're saying it so well, it's not just about dominating the foundation of the Tai sect. Meng Zhang cursed the true spirit Taoist deeply. After seeing through the conspiracy of the true spirit Taoist, he expressed his determination after a few perfunctory words with the true spirit Taoist. Since my master has handed over the position of Tai sect leader to me, I will be responsible to Tai sect. Unless I die, I will never give up the position of Tai sect leader. After speaking, Meng Zhang remained silent and ignored whatever the true spirit Taoist said. Seeing that Meng Zhang was not moved by his words, Taoist Xianling said for a long time before leaving in frustration. Chapter 2. Master's Chronicle. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As soon as Taoist Xianling left the main hall, his fake smile disappeared from sight. Don't blame me for disregarding my fellow disciples' sentiments, as something that I don't know how to stand up to is so ignorant. At this moment, a young Taoist rushed over from a distance. Master, the Zhang brothers have already been in contact. Shut up, you idiot, the true spirit Taoist scolded fiercely. The little Taoist, who was frightened by the true spirit Taoist, dared not speak and could only cautiously follow behind him, walking towards his residence. After entering his own room, he carefully closed the door and looked around carefully. Only then did the true spirit Taoist curse at the young Taoist, who was his disciple Li Jie, saying, "You idiot, you don't have much brain. Can you talk about that kind of thing outside?" After cursing, Taoist Xianling finally talked about the matter. Now, tell me everything about contacting the Zhang brothers, bit by bit, without any concealment. While Taoist Xianling and his disciple Li Jie were secretly plotting a major event, there was another wave of chaos in the Tai sect. As the eldest disciple of the Tai sect, Fang Meng is also a sharp and decisive person. After parting ways with Meng Zhang, he simply tidied up and had to leave the Tai gate with a few junior brothers. Although Fang Meng has a slightly bad temper, he is still a senior brother and has a certain level of prestige in the sect. Moreover, he is a person from all over the world, acts boldly, and is very loyal, with many supporters in his family. Before leaving, Fang Meng and several junior brothers stole a lot of property from the Tai gate. Knowing that Meng Zhang controls the protective formation of the Tai gate, Fang Meng dare not be too reckless. After rushing to steal a lot of property, he quickly left Tai gate and didn't dare to stay any longer. Shortly after Fang Meng left with his people, 2 rushing visitors arrived in the main hall where Meng Zhang was located. Qingling Taoist, another junior brother of Xianling Taoist. He is the best spiritual farmer in the Tai sect, who cultivates Changchun Ju, and has 5 levels of cultivation in refining qi. The most important property of Tai gate, 19 acres of spiritual field, is mainly managed by him. Taoist Qingling has an independent personality and rarely participates in other affairs of the Tai sect. His entire energy, even his entire life, was focused on the spiritual field. Qingling Taoist is a true old ox and also the true pillar of the Tai sect. The Tai gate, which has no other industry, is the most important source of income in the gate, which is the Lingtian carefully prepared by Taoist Qingling. The annual worship of Shuangfeng Valley and the cultivation resources of disciples in the sect all rely on the efforts of Taoist Qingling. For the diligent and dedicated senior of Qingling Taoist, Meng Zhang, who is the head of the Tai sect, his heart is also filled with respect. Master Qingling, don't worry. As long as I'm here, the Tai sect won't collapse. Senior brother Fong Meng doesn't want to submit to others and wants to take people away, that's his freedom. Meng Zhang gently comforted Taoist Qingling. Upon hearing the news that Fong Meng had led his people away from the Tai gate, Qingling, a kind-hearted person who did not inquire about external affairs, couldn't sit still. He ran to the main hall and asked Meng Zhang for countermeasures. The other guest in the main hall was a scholar-dressed young man in his 20s. This person's name is Tianzhen and he is Meng Zhang's senior brother. Unlike Master Fong Meng, although Tianzhen is a senior brother, he is most convinced of Meng Zhang in his heart and is a staunch supporter of Meng Zhang in the Tai gate. In Tianzhen's heart, Meng Zhang is the best candidate to inherit the position of Tai sect leader, and also the only person who may revive Tai sect. He unconditionally supports all of Meng Zhang's decisions. Therefore, upon receiving the news that Fong Meng had left with his people and running to ask Meng Zhang for advice, he immediately helped Meng Zhang and began to appease Taoist Qingling. Master Qingling, you don't have to worry. Everyone has their own aspirations, and if senior brother wants to leave, no one can stop him. Now that junior brother Meng has inherited the position of leader, the Tai sect will definitely flourish in his hands. Although Qingling Daochang is not like Tianzhen, who is a brainless fan of Meng Zhang, with his kind personality, he will not refute his fellow disciples in person, even if this fellow disciple is still his junior. Although he was worried, after being comforted by Meng Zhang, he took the initiative to leave the main hall and kept nagging, the current spiritual field is inseparable from people. I'll go take care of the spiritual field. I believe the sect leader can handle all the affairs well. After Taoist Qingling left, Tianzhen reported to Meng Zhanghui, Master, what Fong Meng and his team took away were all floating wealth. The truly important items in the sect are all stored in the sect's treasury. I personally guard the sect's large treasury, and without your command, no one can get any closer. Meng Zhang still attaches great importance to his loyal supporters. He confessed a few words to Tianzhen before sending him away. Since Meng Zhang became the head of the Tai sect, all the miscellaneous affairs in the sect have been entrusted to Tianzhen by him. Meng Zhang, who was sitting in the main hall, calculated that after Fong Meng left with his people, there were not many people left in the current Tai gate. Taoist Qingling and his 2 disciples, along with Tianzhen and himself, are only 5 people. Even with the addition of true spirit Taoist and his disciple Li Jia, there are only 7 people on UU reading www.uukangshu.net, and they can't even gather 2 mahjong tables. If there are fewer people, it's easier to manage, Meng Zhang thought to himself. After a while, Meng Zhang took out a thin booklet from his pocket. The cover of this book is black in ink, with 5 small golden characters engraved on it. This thin book is actually a magical tool that has been passed down among the successive leaders of the Tai sect. Before being summoned by Wuxia city, the old leader of Tai sect, Xianling Taoist, entrusted this book to Meng Zhang for safekeeping. Now Meng Zhang has become the new leader of the Tai sect, naturally inheriting this book that can only be kept by the leader. As the closed-door disciple of the old sect leader, Meng Zhang has seen the old sect leader use this book more than once. Meng Zhang has long been regarded as the old leader of the next generation of Tai sect, and he has never avoided using this book. Although he has never watched the content inside, Meng Zhang still knows how to use the book. Meng Zhang opened the cover of the book, revealing a blank page. He injected his own true energy, and lines of handwriting immediately appeared on the pages of the book. After a while, Meng Zhang figured out what was going on with this book. The use of this book is somewhat similar to the electronic paper books of Meng Zhang's previous life. You only need to input your true qi to check the content inside, and you can also write on it with your true qi. The successive leaders of the Tai sect used this book as a diary to record their experiences and observations. The seemingly thin pages of a book are filled with countless words of content that can be written in countless words. Night had fallen and there was nothing else to do today, so Meng Zhang began to slowly read the content inside. Chapter 3. Reading. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the beginning of reading this master's notebook, Meng Zhang felt a bit restless. This book originated 1,000 years ago and records a large amount of the past and history of the Tai Gate. The Tai sect was originally a large sect located far away in the Middle Earth continent. The sect has a long history and strong strength, with multiple primordial ancestors in the sect. It can be considered a giant in the Middle Earth continent. Over 1,000 years ago, for unknown reasons, the Tai Gate was destroyed by a mysterious force. The disciples who were not in the sect at the time fled from the Middle Earth continent and headed north after the incident. 1,000 years ago, some lucky escaped disciples rebuilt the Tai Gate on the edge of the Middle Earth continent. Although the rebuilt Tai Gate has lost most of its heritage and its strength is far inferior to before, it still managed to establish its roots in the local area relatively smoothly. Although the primordial ancestor has never appeared in the door again, the Golden Core Immortal has never ceased. In this way, the inheritance of Tai Gate continued. At that time, the Golden Elixir Immortal of Tai sect refined this master's chronicle for recording the history of the sect. Although it may not have the glory of its heyday, Tai Gate still survived relatively safely in the local area. Unfortunately, the good times didn't last long. Less than 700 years later, a demonic disaster swept through the local area. The Tai Gate, which was engulfed in the demon disaster, was besieged and once again plunged into the catastrophe of annihilation. The disciple who broke out of the mountain gate at all costs dared not stay in the local area, but fled north and into the endless sea of sand. 300 years ago, the fleeing disciples of the Tai sect established the Tai sect again in the endless sand sea. After a struggle with local forces, I finally barely stood firm. However, at this time, the inheritance of the Tai Gate was almost completely lost, and it was no longer possible to cultivate cultivators in the Golden Elixir period. The gate relied solely on a few foundation building period cultivators to support the scene. The Tai sect, which could no longer maintain its independent status, had to actively seek refuge with the Feihong sect of the Jindan sect and became a vassal of the Feihong sect, barely able to establish itself in the endless sand sea. In a blink of an eye, the Tai Gate has been passed down again for almost 200 years. About 100 years ago, the unlucky Tai Gate was besieged by a large group of sand monsters, and the mountain gate fell again. The disciple who escaped by chance continued to flee towards the north and arrived at the current location of Tai Gate. So, the Tai Gate was rebuilt again. However, this time, the rebuilt Tai Gate has almost collapsed, barely maintaining a weak inheritance. At this time, the Tai Gate no longer had the qualification to be a vassal of the Feihong sect. In order to survive, Taimen had to lower their ranks and defected to Shuangfengu as a vassal. For the history before the Tai Gate, the records in the gate are not detailed, only briefly mentioned. Everyone in the gate knows that the Tai Gate was once glorious, but the specific situation is not well understood. Even Meng Zhang, who used to be there, knew at most that there were cultivators during the period of building foundations in the Tai Gate, who were once vassals of the Feihong sect and held a position on par with Shuangfeng Valley. As for more information, it is unknown. Now that he had read this master's chronicle, Meng Zhang learned about the glorious history of the Tai sect. Tai men didn't know which plague god they had offended, but they were so unlucky. They fought the streets all the way, escaping from the bustling Middle-earth continent to the desolate and endless sand sea. The disciples of their sect are not as good as each generation. According to this unlucky method, how many generations can the Tai sect continue to pass on? At this time, Meng Zhang also seemed to forget his identity as the leader of Tai sect, and could not help roast. The content recorded in the Master's Chronicle is diverse, many of which are anecdotes that Meng Zhang has never heard of before, but they make him enjoy reading them. Since fleeing the Middle-earth continent, the history of how the Taiman struggled to survive and how they fought against various powerful enemies has been recorded one by one. Along this journey, countless predecessors and martyrs who were willing to dedicate themselves to the sect emerged, creating countless deeds that can be called epic legends. Upon closer reading, Meng Zhang couldn't help but feel that the inheritance of the Tai Gate was not easy. Unconsciously, Meng Zhang read until dawn. Meng Zhang didn't feel tired even after staying up all night. After dawn, I still couldn't let go. Shortly after dawn, Taoist Jinling left the Tai Gate with his disciple Li Jie. Long ago, Taoist Xianling personally taught Meng Zhang how to control the protective formation of the Tai sect. More than a month ago, when Xianling Taoist was summoned by Shuangfengu, he disregarded Fang Meng's opposition and handed over all control of the protectorate formation to Meng Zhang. Meng Zhang, who controlled the protectorate formation, had a clear understanding of various situations within the formation. Everyone in the sect's entry and exit cannot escape his eyes. Yesterday, when Fang Meng left the Tai Gate with his people, Meng Zhang kept an eye on it from beginning to end. Meng Zhang, who was unwilling to harm Fang Meng from the same family, tacitly agreed to their departure. Otherwise, as long as Meng Zhang launches the protectorate formation, they can be taken down without much effort. At this moment, what are the intentions behind the departure of the true spirit Taoist from the Tai Gate? Meng Zhang was a bit puzzled in his heart. Unlike Fang Meng, who has a simple mind, the true spirit Taoist who has always coveted the position of Tai sect leader is a venomous snake. This guy has a cruel heart and can do anything. Meng Zhang, who has been watching coldly in the door for many years and has a clear understanding of the true spirit Taoist's character, is not at ease with him. After thinking for a while, there was no result, and Meng Zhang could only temporarily put this matter aside. As long as one firmly controls the main formation of the sect, even if the true spirit Taoist has any ulterior motives, it is impossible to succeed. Meng Zhang thought to himself. The current Tai sect has a small population and no affairs to handle within the sect. Meng Zhang has enough free time to slowly read the master's notebook in his hand. Meng Zhang did not read strictly in chronological order, but rather read according to his own interests, jumping around to find useful information. The observations and experiences of the leaders of the Tai sect throughout history are very interesting. They even recorded a lot of their own cultivation experience in this master's notebook. This part of the content is of great help to Meng Zhang. What saddened Meng Zhang the most was that during the legendary reign of the Tai sect, the miraculous skills and secrets passed down by the sect were not recorded in the books. That's right, if these contents were recorded in the Master's Chronicle, they wouldn't have been lost for so long. Among the current Tai Gate, there are not many surviving classics and even fewer useful cultivation techniques. Most people practice techniques such as Changchun Gong, Huangsha Ju, and Tongming Gong, which have no distinctive characteristics and are widely circulated in the practice world. Only the Shaoyang Qigong practiced by Meng Zhang is considered the only secret technique passed down by the Tai sect. However, due to incomplete inheritance, it is extremely difficult to cultivate Shaoyang Qigong. Among the current Tai men, only Meng Zhang, who has excellent qualifications and understanding, has the ability to cultivate. Chapter 4. Record. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Throughout the day, Meng Zhang spent most of his time reading the Master's notebook. This magical tool passed down among the leaders of the Tai sect through generations has brought him great surprises. Meng Zhang, who broadened his horizons, became increasingly excited about the content recorded on the opposite side. After spending the whole day and as night fell, he found another interesting record in this book. The person who recorded this matter was Xuanqingzi, a leader of the Tai sect or the Jindan sect. According to the records of Xuanqingzi, when he was young, he had heard from the senior members of the sect that during its heyday, the Tai sect had many places for testing and training its disciples. Excellent disciples in the sect enter these trial places and undergo various tests. If you can pass the test, you will gain great benefits, and you will receive some inheritance in the sect, greatly improving your own strength. After the destruction of the Tai Gate, these trial areas were either destroyed or occupied by other sections. But some of the trial places are not located in this world, but in different spaces. When the catastrophe of the destruction of the sect occurred, these places of trial were highly likely to have narrowly escaped this calamity. After the reconstruction of the Tai Gate, the high-level members of the sect put in a lot of effort to re-enter these trial areas and reclaim the sect's past inheritance. After many efforts, the rebuilt Tai Gate successfully communicated with a place of trial. This place of trial is located in the underworld, and the physical body of the living cannot enter. Only the divine soul exits the body and enters it in the state of a divine soul. Moreover, because the target audience of this trial site is the disciples of the Qi refining period in the sect. So, only cultivators with cultivation during the Qi refining period can enter it. Generally speaking, ordinary cultivators can only force their divine souls out of the body after entering the later stage of Qi refining. And the divine soul cannot leave the physical body for a long time, let alone be too far away from the physical body. An ordinary cultivator must have a foundation-building cultivation period in order for their divine soul to leave their body for a long time and wander far away. Of course, these restrictions were nothing to the Tai Gate during its heyday. At its heyday, the Tai sect was a powerful sect with multiple primordial ancestors. There are many talented individuals in the sect, and there are always some unparalleled heavenly pride who can possess the divine soul strength only found in the foundation-building period during the Qi refining period. Moreover, at that time, the Tai sect also had many special means to enhance the spiritual strength of ordinary disciples during the Qi refining period. So, this place of trial in the underworld often welcomed disciples of the powerful refining period with divine souls at that time. But after the reconstruction of the Tai Gate, there were no more Tianjiao disciples in the gate, and all the means to enhance the divine soul were lost. So, although we had painstakingly communicated with this place of trial, we were unable to enter it at all, let alone make it effective. The efforts of everyone in the sect have all been in vain. When the head of Xianxia recorded this incident, he expressed his dissatisfaction in a regretful tone, lamenting that the rebuilt Tai Gate was really unlucky and had encountered obstacles everywhere. As for the subsequent attack on the Tai Gate, the entire sect was also in turmoil and underwent several changes, and this record was also submerged in history. The subsequent generations of leaders were not interested in it at all. When Meng Zhang read this record, he did not simply skim through it like previous generations of leaders, but repeatedly read it carefully several times. I don't know if it's because of being a traveler, Meng Zhang's divine soul is naturally stronger than ordinary people. This aspect is manifested externally, that is, he has a talent of being unforgettable and having excellent comprehension even before he starts practicing. Not long after the official start of cultivation, but only in the early stage of Qi refining, he can easily achieve the ability of divine souls to leave the body. When his cultivation reaches the fourth level of Qi refining and enters the middle stage of Qi refining, he can even leave his body with divine souls and wander outside for a long time. As a traveler, it is one's greatest secret, and even Master Xianling, Meng Zhang, has not revealed it. More than a month ago, the old leader Xianling Taoist was summoned by Shuangfengu to go out. Meng Zhang took this opportunity and had a great addiction to wandering his soul. In the middle of the night, he will take the initiative to release his divine soul and let it wander around the sect's headquarters. Several times, he even boldly allowed his divine soul to leave the sect base and wander around the base for a few times. Meng Zhang, who possessed this special ability, immediately felt a heart attack when he read about the place of trial. This place of trial is simply tailor-made for oneself. Although my cultivation is not high and I am just a junior cultivator in the middle stage of Qi refining, with my divine soul strength, entering the trial site should not be a problem. Meng Zhang has no doubts about the authenticity of the records in the book. This Master's Chronicle is specifically used by the leaders of the Tai sect throughout history to record events, and it belongs exclusively to the Tai sect Master. The senior leader named Xianxia cannot lie inside. Yu reading www.yuyukangshu.net. Meng Zhang was very much looking forward to the place of trial left by the Tai Gate during its heyday. The current Tai Gate, although still bearing the name of a Tai Gate, is vastly different from the Tai Gate that was rebuilt in the past, not to mention the Tai Gate in its heyday. The inheritance of the sect has almost been lost, except for the sect leader's chronicle in Meng Zhang's hand. It is estimated that nothing can be found in the sect, which is related to the previous Tai sect. The days of Tai Gate have always been relatively tight. The only fixed income in the door is the output of the 19-acre spiritual field. With just this little output, about 1/3 of it needs to be turned over as a tribute to Shuangfengu. The remaining output needs to be exchanged for various materials to support the operation of the entire sect. On weekdays, in order to subsidize the sect, the old sect leader, the Xianling Taoist, often takes his disciples outside to hunt monsters or accept employment, working hard to earn spiritual stones. All members of the sect, including Meng Zhang, the key seed disciple, suffer from insufficient cultivation resources. Of course, the so-called genius refers to consuming the same resources and achieving faster cultivation progress. Meng Zhang is such a genius. Although the cultivation time is the shortest, the cultivation speed is the fastest among peers. If one can inherit the legacy of the Tai sect during its heyday, it will definitely bring great benefits to oneself and the entire Tai sect. Long ago, Meng Zhang promised in front of the old sect leader Xianling that he would definitely revive the Tai sect and let it rise again. Now, Shihu has an opportunity to help him fulfill his promise, which has appeared before him. Meng Zhang quickly made up his mind to enter this place of trial as soon as possible, even if he had to take risks. Chapter 5. Sacrifice. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Meng Zhang is also a quick-witted person. He stopped reading, put away the master's notebook, and walked towards the outside of the main hall. The Tai Gate is a small sect, covering an area of less than 30 acres. In the middle of several small courtyards, there are green spiritual fields scattered. There are no grand and magnificent buildings in the door, only a few rows of ordinary houses. The tallest sect hall, without any decoration, is not eye-catching at all. Meng Zhang left the main hall of the sect and walked into a row of houses next to him. This is where the large treasury of Tai Gate is located, and almost all the treasures in the public are stored here. On weekdays, Tianzhen, a staunch supporter of Meng Zhang, lives here and is responsible for guarding the large treasury. Upon seeing Meng Zhang enter, Tianzhen, who was originally meditating on the ground, immediately stood up. Master. You don't have to worry about me, I'm just picking up something. Meng Zhang waved his hand and walked to the back wall of the house. He reached out and groped on the wall, twisting a few times. With a series of gurgling sounds, a door opened up on the original wall, revealing a secret room behind it. Meng Zhang walked straight in, familiar with the way. He has been here more than once and has also counted the supplies inside multiple times. It is said to be a large warehouse of the sect, but the materials inside are pitifully scarce. On the walls around the secret room, there are layers of runes carved to prevent the loss of spiritual energy from the items inside, and to ensure constant temperature and humidity throughout the room, as well as to prevent insects and moths. All around the wall are rows of shelves, but most of them are empty, with only a few layers of shelves containing items. Several stacks of commonly used talismans, more than 10 bottles of elixirs, and a pile of commonly used low-level materials such as cinnabar, blank rune paper, spices, monster blood, thread incense, medicinal oil, are placed on each shelf in different categories. There are several large jars on the ground. One contains about 200 pounds of lingu, while the other contains some sun-dried lingjubes. There is a large box in the middle of the secret room, containing less than 1,000 inferior spirit stones. What is stored in the secret room is all the materials of the Tai sect, which has been accumulated by the entire sect for over 100 years. Although the entire sect treasury does not even have a decent magical tool, the successive leaders of the Tai sect have indeed exhausted all their efforts to manage the sect and accumulate these assets under such harsh conditions. The items needed by Meng Zhang are not complicated, and they are not too precious either. He searched several shelves and finally gathered everything he needed. With a greeting from Hotan town, Meng Zhang hurriedly left. Meng Zhang found a stone the size of a grinding wheel in the courtyard outside the main hall and returned to the hall. After returning to the main hall, Meng Zhang placed the stone in the middle of the hall, took out his flying sword, and flattened the surface of the stone to reveal a flat surface. Then inject the true qi into your fingertips, and according to the records in the master's notebook, draw on the stones. Finger-sized gaps appeared on the surface of the stone. Lines form layers of complex runes. Meng Zhang has an excellent memory and didn't spend much time sketching it out. Moreover, all the runes and records in the master's notebook are accurate. Meng Zhang took out a bottle containing mercury that had been quenched with spiritual energy. Pour the mercury from the bottle onto the stone block, use True Qi remote control, and let all the mercury flow along the outlined runes through the gaps on the stone block, quickly filling all the gaps. Take out cinnabar and apply it to the entire surface of the stone in a burst. A simplified altar has been set up like this. A small bottle of monster blood and 10 inferior spirit stones were carefully placed on the surface of the stones as sacrificial offerings. Meng Zhang felt fortunate in his heart that he didn't need many sacrifices and didn't spend much. Finally, 3 long incense sticks were taken out and lit on the ground in front of the altar. Meng Zhang, who had completed all of this, stood in front of the altar, calm and composed, with a calm heart. According to the chronicles of the headmaster, during its heyday, the Tai Gate had made a contract with a ghost god in the underworld, who was responsible for guarding this place of trial. The disciples of Tai Gate need to set up altars, prepare sacrifices, communicate with this ghost and god, and then use the power of this ghost and god to send their divine souls to the place of trial. When worshipping this ghost and god, there is no need for any face-saving techniques such as bathing, changing clothes, burning incense, and fasting. The most important thing is to be sincere and not show any disrespect towards ghosts and gods. Standing in front of the altar for a while, Meng Zhang felt that he had finally calmed down. He bent down deeply towards the altar, bowed 3 times in a row, then lowered his head and arched his hands with a respectful expression on his face. He said very solemnly, Meng Zhang, the leader of Tai sect, sincerely prays and respectfully requests the deity to appear. After speaking, Meng Zhang maintained a posture of bowing his head and arching his hands, while his body remained motionless. There was silence in the main hall, not even a sound of wind. Only the 3 incense sticks on the ground are quietly burning. These 3 long incense sticks can burn for more than an hour in a calm environment. As time slowly passed, Meng Zhang's expression remained unchanged, his movements remained unchanged, and even his breathing remained undisturbed. Seeing that the 3 incense sticks were about to burn out, a change finally occurred in the main hall. The gusts of Yin wind generated out of thin air howled fiercely in the main hall, making Meng Zhang feel a bit unstable in his stance. A thick black cloud appeared above the altar. In the dark clouds, a portal appeared faintly visible. Suddenly, a suction force appeared inside the door, sucking the offerings on the altar directly in. Meng Zhang's heart moved, knowing that this was a critical moment. He suddenly sat cross-legged and then meditated as quickly as possible, communicating his divine soul. Soon, Meng Zhang entered a strange state that seemed to be sleeping but not sleeping. In the mist, he felt the divine soul within himself. That is a light cluster that emits soft light and has a human form. The surface of the light cluster was blurry, with a faint and indistinct appearance that resembled Meng Zhang's appearance. This is me, Meng Zhang's mind flashed with a clear realization. Afterwards, Meng Zhang's consciousness entered this group of light, and they were no longer separated from each other. Meng Zhang controlled his own divine soul and made a strong leap, as if he had jumped out of a cage. Meng Zhang's divine soul jumped out of the top door of his physical body, looked around, and hesitated for a moment. Then, with an unusually firm and unwavering attitude, he rushed towards the door above the altar. Chapter 6. Place of Trial. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As soon as Meng Zhang's divine soul entered this portal, he immediately felt a whirlwind, unable to distinguish between top, bottom, left, and right. The surrounding space is rapidly changing and starting to rotate non-stop. Meng Zhang felt as if he had been thrown into the drying bucket of the washing machine, and his spirit kept spinning. I don't know how long it took, but Meng Zhang's spirit was almost unconscious, and this intense spatial transformation finally came to an end. Meng Zhang felt as if his divine soul was about to be shaken away, and even the surface light of his divine soul became much dimmer. Fortunately, Meng Zhang entered here with his divine soul. If his physical body were here and he was tossed around like this, he would probably even spit out bile. After the surrounding space became stable, Meng Zhang realized that he had come into a world different from the human world. The sky of this world is gray and heavy, with heavy lead clouds bringing a great sense of oppression. This world seems to have no sun, and naturally there is no sunshine either. The whole world was shrouded in a dim yellow light, appearing eerie and permeated. Meng Zhang's divine soul entered here with a strange sense of familiarity, as if it were a fish in water, feeling indescribably comfortable and joyful. In the outside world, every time his spirit exits his body, he feels a strong sense of oppression, as if the whole world is rejecting him. So, every time his soul comes out of his body, he is cautious and trembling, afraid to stay outside for too long. The feeling from the divine soul made Meng Zhang realize that he had come to the underworld. The mortal world rejects divine souls, while the underworld is the ultimate destination for all divine souls. Meng Zhang looked around and saw himself in the middle of the sky, empty beside him. Looking down, there is a huge circular mountain range, forming a very regular and round circle. In the middle of the circular mountain range is a huge basin. The terrain of the basin is mainly plain, mixed with some mountains, hills, lakes, rivers in the basin. There seem to be several cities, with a large army lined up and military flags displayed. Outside the circular mountain range, it is shrouded in a thick layer of black mist, making it difficult to see clearly what is happening inside. When the divine soul was in the mortal world, it already had the ability to see at night. After arriving in the underworld, the five senses of the divine soul were greatly enhanced. But Meng Zhang still knew nothing about the area shrouded in black mist below. At this moment, a sudden and immense force descended from somewhere, fiercely pressing against Meng Zhang's divine soul. Meng Zhang's divine soul had no resistance and rushed towards the ground under pressure. Meng Zhang's divine soul quickly descended towards the ground and quickly penetrated the layer of black mist, entering it. The divine soul is already very light, and when it lands, there is an inexplicable cushion. Meng Zhang's divine soul did not land very quickly, and the impact was not severe, causing no damage. Meng Zhang's divine soul climbed up from the ground, shook, and then looked around. Under the black mist, there is a dark and hazy space. Meng Zhang couldn't see too far away clearly, only knowing that there was a flat open space nearby. Looking a little further away, it was pitch black, with a thick black color resembling melted ink. Meng Zhang carefully observed the surroundings with the unique feeling of a divine soul. The ground is covered in black fine sand, devoid of any vitality. There was a dead silence around, not even a hint of wind could be heard. The endless sand sea where Tai Gate is located, although famous as a desolate place in the Junqian realm, is not devoid of any vitality. Not to mention those sparsely distributed oases in the desert, even under endless yellow sand, one can occasionally find some tenacious creatures struggling to survive. At this place, apart from a strong sense of stillness, there was no trace of life in the surroundings. According to the records in the Master's Chronicle, the place of trial is located in the underworld. This should be the legendary place of trial. I just don't know what kind of trial I will face. Meng Zhang waited in place for half a day, and there was no change in his surroundings. Since this is a place of trial, the purpose of entering here is also to accept the trial. It's not a problem to keep waiting in place. With this in mind, Meng Zhang casually found a direction and began to slowly move forward. In this place, he couldn't distinguish between the southeast, northwest, and even less know which direction to go. As Meng Zhang advanced, more and more scenery came into his sight. As far as you can see, the surrounding scenery remains unchanged, with nothing new on the ground except for black fine sand. The divine soul is not walking on the ground with its feet on the ground, but floating in the air very close to the ground, slowly drifting forward. Due to the lack of wind around him, Meng Zhang had no place to borrow power, and the floating speed of his divine soul could not be improved. I don't know how long it took, let alone how far it went. The place where Meng Zhang originally landed has fallen into darkness and is completely invisible. At this moment, a gust of wind suddenly came from the darkness on the left. Meng Zhang, who had been on high alert since entering this place, looked over with alertness. After a while, a floating ghost appeared from the darkness. This ghost maintains its human form, emitting a faint cold light all over its body, resembling a humanoid cold light lamp. The ghost, who was burying its head on the road, suddenly spotted Meng Zhang. First, it let out piercing screams, and then without hesitation, rushed towards Meng Zhang. If Meng Zhang appeared here in physical form, the mere ghost would not be worth mentioning. He could easily be eliminated with just a few spells. But Meng Zhang, in his divine soul state, naturally lost his ability to cast spells because all his mana remained in his physical body. The speed of the ghost's attack was very fast, from discovering Meng Zhang to pouncing on Meng Zhang's side, in just a few breaths. Although Meng Zhang had no magical power, he wouldn't sit idly by. Generally speaking, cultivators in the qi refining stage of the cultivation world often practice some martial arts. On the one hand, it can strengthen the body and increase qi and blood. On the other hand, the mana of cultivators during the qi refining period is limited, and they cannot cast a few spells during battles, which will be exhausted. Without mana, can one die in battle? Of course not. Without magic, martial arts can still defeat the enemy. Meng Zhang has also undergone hard work in martial arts training. Although in the state of divine soul, one cannot fully unleash 30% of their martial arts skills. But dealing with the ghost in front of us should be more than enough. Meng Zhang easily avoided the attack of the ghost by turning sideways. Then he drifted behind the ghost and swung his fists, creating a burst of hammers. Meng Zhang, who had a divine soul leaving his body, was essentially very close to ghosts and similar creatures. This sudden outbreak of the encounter was a genuine ghost fight. With Meng Zhang's explosive hammer, eerie light dots fell off the ghost's body one by one. In just a moment, the ghost, who had been punched countless times, almost halved in size. When Meng Zhang exploded the hammer ghost, the wind became fierce in the darkness on the left. Two more ghosts rushed out of the darkness, and judging from the movement, there should be many more ghosts behind. There are no vital points on the ghost's body. Even if Meng Zhang is skilled in martial arts, it is difficult to achieve a one-shot kill. Seeing two more ghosts appear, Meng Zhang, who didn't want to fall into a siege, grabbed both sides of the ghost's body in front of him with both hands, and used all his strength to tear it apart. The ghost's body was torn in half alive, and then Meng Zhang's hands shook, and the ghost's body finally disappeared completely. When the ghost's body completely disappeared, Meng Zhang felt a cool gas flowing into his body. He, who was originally feeling a bit weak, felt a boost in his spirits and the energy he had expended quickly recovered. In addition, Meng Zhang also felt an additional message in the divine soul. However, he, who is currently busy with fighting, has no time to process this information. Facing the ghosts rushing towards him from both ends, Meng Zhang let out a loud shout and took the initiative to greet them. After a fierce struggle, Meng Zhang was exhausted for half a year before killing the two ghosts. killed 2 ghosts, and 2 cool breaths flowed into his body, instantly reviving him with full blood. Similarly, there are 2 additional messages in the Divine Soul. Another ghost rushed out of the darkness. These foolish ghosts, unaware of their numerical advantage, used the most foolish refueling tactics, giving Meng Ming a chance to recover after each battle. After several fierce battles, Meng Zhang defeated 8 ghosts in a row. With high fighting spirit, he was preparing to take the initiative to pounce on the ghost in the darkness. An inexplicable force repelled him from this space. Another round of twists and turns, just like when he arrived, Meng Zhang, who had suffered a lot of turmoil, finally returned to the main hall of the Xianxia sect. A divine soul that has never been out of the body for so long, as soon as it regains consciousness, it does not hesitate to rush towards its own body. The divine soul returned to his body, and Meng Zhang's physical body also woke up. All the illusions on the altar have disappeared, and even the rudimentary stone altar, blown by the wind, has turned into a sky full of stone powder and quickly dissipated. Chapter 7. Harvest. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the past, after Meng Zhang's divine soul emerged from his body, he only wandered around the Tai Gate and dared not stay outside for too long, mainly worried about the damage to his divine soul. After the divine soul returns to the body, one will feel tired and powerless, unable to lift their spirits at all. The situation this time is very different from before. After the divine soul returned to his body, Meng Zhang felt full of energy and refreshed. Those who practice during the qi refining period also need sleep. However, compared to ordinary people, only a relatively short sleep time is needed to meet their needs. Of course, cultivators during the qi refining period may spend several days and nights without sleeping, and it's nothing, at most it's just a bit tiring. Ordinary people like Meng Zhang in his past life were able to stay up late to cultivate immortality, let alone cultivators in this world. Meng Zhang hasn't rested well these days, and he even stayed up all night reading last night. He has been staying up for most of the night now. In theory, one should have been exhausted and drowsy long ago. But upon returning from the place of trial, he was full of energy and had no drowsiness at all. Meng Zhang thought that when he was killing those ghosts in the trial ground, a cool breath rushed into his divine soul, restoring its strength. It seems that after my divine soul left the body this time, not only did I not suffer any loss, but my divine soul was replenished, all of which relied on it. In addition, when Meng Zhang killed those ghosts, he felt information entering his divine soul. At that time, he was busy with fighting and had no time to pay attention to this information. Now, returning to a safe place, he slowly began to organize this information. After a moment, Meng Zhang, who had sorted out this information, was filled with an indescribable surprise on his face. Killing 8 ghosts gave him 8 pieces of information. The Tao information is related to refining tools, about how to depict the commonly used tool prohibitions of a certain Tao. The Tao information is related to alchemy, about how to deal with a certain medicinal herb in order to fully unleash its medicinal properties. Yudao information is related to formations and uses a special technique to stimulate the formation's greater killing power. Yudao information is a special technique used when casting fire arrow, which can reduce mana loss and increase the power of spells. The 8 paths of information cover a wide range of practical tips and valuable knowledge. In Meng Zhang's past life, there was a saying that knowledge is power. In this world of cultivation, knowledge related to cultivation is not only very valuable, but also many can be directly transformed into power. In the process of cultivating various skills, it is difficult to acquire knowledge that can directly create wealth, such as alchemy, refining tools, and formations. Now, Meng Zhang only needs to kill ghosts in the trial site to obtain various rare knowledge. And Meng Zhang also thought that ghosts were just the lowest level of ghosts. When he caught a glimpse in the high sky, he saw numerous high-level ghosts below. I don't know what gains will be from killing those high-level ghosts. As soon as Meng Zhang thought of this, his heart became hot. The Tai Gate has suffered numerous disasters, and its inheritance has almost been lost. At this moment, Meng Zhang found hope to regain his inheritance. The place of trial contains information about the inheritance of the Tai Gate during its heyday, which is indeed true. If it weren't for only being able to enter the inheritance land once every night, Meng Zhang couldn't resist himself and wanted to enter it again. Meng Zhang glanced outside the main hall, and the sun was about to rise. Since embarking on the path of cultivation, Meng Zhang, who has been diligent, has never missed his morning classes every day. Due to unexpected changes in the door these days, Meng Zhang's morning classes have been delayed for 2 days, and his mind always feels empty. Today, Meng Zhang doesn't want to continue missing morning classes. Meng Zhang left the main hall of the sect and jumped directly onto the top of the hall. This is already the tallest place of Tai Gate. Facing the east, Meng Zhang sat cross-legged, ready to welcome the rising sun. The Shaoyang Qigong practiced by Meng Zhang needs to absorb the earliest appearance of the initial yang energy in the world at the beginning of the morning sun every day. After being absorbed into his stomach, he repeatedly refines it in the sea of Dantian Qi to cultivate a unique Shaoyang Qigong. Shaoyang Qigong has the effects of refining the body, warming and nourishing the soul, and even the power of yang fire. It is actually a rare and superior skill. However, most of the Shaoyang Qigong passed down by the Tai sect has been lost, not to mention the Qi refining techniques, and some of the pass areas have long been lost. It was also Meng Zhang's astonishing intelligence that enabled him to overcome numerous difficulties and cultivate a pure Shaoyang true Qi with half of the incomplete martial arts secrets. After completing his exercises in the main hall and finishing today's morning class, Meng Zhang returned to the hall. He took a pen and paper and recorded the knowledge he had gained last night one by one. When he was very young, he had the ability to never forget. No matter how much information he has, he can remember it well. Recording this information, he is not worried about forgetting it, but for the sake of his sect. He recorded this information in preparation for preservation in the Sutra Pavilion of Tai Gate, as the inheritance of the sect and to enhance its heritage. If more information is obtained from the trial site in the future, it can be classified and bound into volumes. After finishing these tasks, Meng Zhang was preparing to go to the side of Taoist Qinling to see if there was anything in the spiritual field that needed help. At this moment, he felt that the sect's protective formation had been touched again. He took out the palm seal he carried with him, gestured in front of him, and a light curtain appeared in front of him. Li Jie, the disciple of the true spirit Taoist, was using his identity token to pass through the sect formation and return to the Tai Gate. The true spiritual Taoist who went out with Li Jie, Yu reading www.yuyukeangshu.net, disappeared without a trace. After entering the Tai Gate, Li Jie kept walking non-stop and rushed towards the main hall of the sect. Master, it's not good anymore. There's an accident. Before entering the main hall gate, Li Jie shouted loudly. Meng Zhang, who had put away the master's seal, scolded Li Jie in a low voice as he walked in. What are you panicking about? As a person of cultivation, the most important thing is to have a calm and composed heart, as calm as water. What do you look like now? Li Jie ignored Meng Zhang's scolding and shouted directly. The leader is not doing well. The master's old house is surrounded by sand monsters. Li Jie's words surprised Meng Zhang greatly. How could the true spirit Taoist be so unlucky that he was surrounded by sand monsters? In the endless sand sea, sand monsters are the common enemy of all intelligent beings and the greatest calamity in the sand sea. No one knows the origin of the sand monster, let alone when it first appeared. Anyway, all we know is that with humans in the endless sea of sand, there are sand monsters. The sand monster has a crazy hatred towards all intelligent beings, especially humans. Every time the sand monster appears, it will crazily attack the surrounding human settlements, surrounding and killing all cultivators it encounters. When a certain number of sand monsters gather, they will actively attack the mountain gates of various cultivation sects and families. In the history of endless sand seas, the sects and families that were destroyed by sand monsters were countless. The Tai Gate, which was rebuilt for the second time, was ultimately destroyed due to the siege of sand monsters. Upon hearing the news of the appearance of the sand monster, Meng Zhang's first thought was not about the fate of the true spirit Taoist, but about the safety of the Tai Gate. The sand monster appears nearby, and it's possible that the Tai Gate is in danger of being destroyed.